You are a pro se litigant. You represent yourself. You have no attorney. What in the world are you supposed to do? Well, there's the $1 million proverbially question. If you represent yourself, that means you have no legal counsel. That means that you are operating on your own for things like preparation of documents, filing documents, scheduling hearings, representing yourself in front of the judge. The other side might have an attorney. You might get cross examined. Nobody is sitting there objecting to the questions you're being asked, no matter how obscene or how otherwise unusual or inappropriate. You have to submit proposed orders on your own. You have to manage every aspect of your case on your own. While there is no direct correlation between law and medicine, lawyers are not doctors, doctors are not lawyers, and one can argue the degree of skill, both mentally and physically, that either of those professions require, there is a great analogy nevertheless. That analogy is as follows. If you are representing yourself, that is sort of like performing a minor surgery on yourself. Let's go to dentistry because that makes the most sense as far as the visual is concerned. If you need a root canal because a filling would not work, or because a standard cap or crown of some kind has not solved your pain problem, and maybe the nerve or the root is infected or requires removal, and you need a root canal through endodontistry. If you are going to represent yourself at a family law trial involving serious assets, marital houses, property, division of retirement, division of 401ks, stock divisions, these things, and you have minor children, and now you're in what is called a child custody battle to determine whether or not the 50-50 presumption holds, or whether or not you're going to have less time sharing, pay more child support, etc. Would you want to look in the mirror, buy your own drill, buy your own needles, your own lidocaine, and your own equipment, and would you want to then excavate the nerve from your own tooth by looking in the mirror? Could you do that successfully? Maybe you could pull a tooth through the old method of the old string on the door, but can you navigate your way through an 8-hour long trial involving your children and everything you have, all of your marital assets and debts? Could you do it? Maybe. Can you do it as successfully? Likely not. Although some of you are extremely sophisticated, well educated. I would suggest to you that there seems to be a phenomenon that is of ever increasing difficulty for people, which is this. They type something into Google, family law trial, and something through our ever expanding, ever evolving AI search comes up. No longer even people's websites where you can read a blog, whether that's of any worth or not. Now we're receiving AI summaries. And this may instill a person with false confidence. Wow. Okay, so I go to my family law trial and I tell the judge everything that I want. Okay. Did you know that that's 8 hours long and that somebody will be asking you questions for 4 hours, presenting you with 15, 20, 30, 40 exhibits about your finances, questioning every decision you've ever made, showing every text message that you've ever sent to the other side? Who prepared you? Who practiced those questions with you? Who gave you an idea of what to expect? Who even told you or suggested what you should wear to a family law trial? Did you know how to address the court? Did you know that you're not supposed to interrupt at certain times and you absolutely should object at others? You know absolutely nothing except for something that you read in an AI summary. And ladies and gentlemen, super AI and supercomputers are not yet the law. They are not lawyers. They are not advocating for you. And may I also suggest to you that you may watch court TV and family court shows. I know there are an abundance of them now. I read a myriad of articles about it and even watched a couple of clips on YouTube. That is not how family court works, and that is not how family court works in Florida. Okay? I know it may seem like everything is small claims court and you yell over each other and you talk about each other and you're telling the judge what a terrible person the other one is and how they did this and they did that. There's a process, there's a procedure, Things do not happen like that. Your case is not going to last 5 minutes. If you go to a trial, the likelihood is it's going to be a full day. Some family law trials go 2 to 5 days, depending on the voluminous amount of assets and debts you may have, and whether or not you have expert witnesses and guardians ad litem and parenting coordinators testifying. There are so many different aspects to it. AI and Mr. Google will never ever be able to replace an actual lawyer on your side. You may be a pro se litigant, and being a pro se litigant may be less expensive at the front end. It could be enormously costly in the back end. If somebody has proven that there should be an unequal distribution of assets, or you didn't know how to present evidence and didn't show that 50-50 should continue as the presumption and how to divide things. If the other side presents some evidence that you have squandered, taken, or otherwise dispossessed their client of marital assets, and you have no evidence to refute it, even if their allegations are untrue, and yes, not everything in family law court is presented in a way in which suggests the truth is going to come out. Everybody's looking for an angle and a perspective, and to prove their point, you need to be aware of that as well. All's fair in love and war, even if you don't like it. You're going to have to be comfortable with the fact that if you're going to trial on your own, and if you're going to represent yourself on your own because you don't, quote, need to pay an attorney or you can do it yourself, that there are perils and pitfalls associated with it. And while I respect the sentiment, and I agree that people right now financially are not in as good a position as they may have been in several years ago. And I hope that changes. I hope everybody gets back to work. I hope salaries increase. I hope inflation decreases. I hope our country rebounds financially and that we're going to have great outcomes indefinitely. I hope that for my family. I hope that for your family. I hope that for myself. I hope that for my law practice, of course. But I have to say that all of this pro se representation often leads to bad outcomes. Not always, but often. Saving money on something that is extremely important to you and potentially to your family just because you think you can do it on your own. Well, if you discover you cannot, hire counsel. If you do have success on your own and you want to continue on your own, by all means, please do. Hiring an attorney is not about being destructive or aggressive to the other side. Hiring an attorney is about making sure the process goes fairly, making sure that you are not going to miss some crucial facts or some crucial evidence, and that you are stewarded through a process with, we're not really allowed to call ourselves experts, but in this case, expertise, experience, that you are stewarded through the process. You know what to expect, when to expect it, how to do it, where to go for it, and everything in between. Attorneys are essentially your advocate before a tribunal, before the court. Our job is to represent you in your best interests. And we might have a difference of opinion as to what your best interests are. And that is because we practice law. And in our job as practitioners of law, we have experience with issues that you have faced, and we have encountered issues that you are currently facing, and we may know how best to resolve those issues. If you're going to continue on as a pro se litigant, consider the costs. If you have to go to a temporary hearing for relief on alimony and child support, consider the costs. If you have to go to trial someday and you have an extensive trial with a presentation of evidence about finances, about your parenting, about incidents that have happened with you and your ex or you and your spouse, consider what can happen if you're not represented by really good legal counsel and you do not have somebody on your side who is protecting your best interests, who has put in 10, 20, 30, 40 hours of preparation to present all of your facts, all of your evidence, all of your documents, to make sure that your case is the absolute best case that is possible to present on your behalf at that time based on the facts of your case. I believe it is of the utmost importance, especially when there are hearings and trials, that folks that are self represented strongly consider hiring legal counsel. Nothing that I've stated here today is legal advice, although we at the Divorce and Family Law Podcast really love educating folks. This is an opinion show. This is our opinion designed to educate you by causing you to consider different facts, different objectives, different outlooks, different perspectives. I hope we've done that here today, and I hope that for those of you that are considering self-representation during the most crucial and critical aspects of your case, that you will speak with counsel and thoughtfully consider how best to proceed.